Let me make sure we got her. Hey, how you doing there today?
Oh, better than I deserve. How you doing?
Pretty good. Hey, we saw you up there giving a little bit of a go to it for the crowd over here at the anti-NDP, anti-carbon tax rally. So really, deep down, how do you feel about what's going on here in the province of Alberta?
I'm pretty disgusted. We have a government that's so out of touch, and it's just frustrating because democracy is supposed to be about our leaders listening to the people and then going into that building and speaking on behalf of the people. But it seems like this government has some people that have paid them or controlled, like they have some masters, and they've decided to stop listening to the people. I mean, you look at carbon tax, and it's not just like 50-50, it's like overwhelmingly against us, and yet they're not going to stand up for us to Ottawa, and even here in Alberta, they're going to introduce this carbon tax. And you know, I want to do something about the environment. I care about the environment very much. You know, I want to do what we can to leave this place better for our kids, but the carbon tax is a tax by another name, and if anything, if your goal is to reduce carbon production, well, you're bleeding business over into jurisdictions that are not going to have nowhere near the environmental protections we got here. So it's nothing but a tax grab to take our money and then give it to people who've lobbied this government for pay to play. And I don't want to subsidize something that can't compete on its own in the market and doesn't give the consumer good value for their investment, and this doesn't. And we've seen that these schemes don't work. We've seen with the changes to how we have utilities here with power generation. They've done this in Ontario, and you know, it might be like, oh, power costs went up, utilities went up 40%, whatever, but like, those are numbers in a paper that a bureaucrat reads. Try justifying that to a single mom who might not be able to give her kid a breakfast before they go to school, or old people who have to choose between nourishing food and their prescriptions now. You know, do you want an old person to get pneumonia? And so I talk to people and I say, what kills more people, climate change or poverty? You know,
yeah, so what do you think about the average Albertan? And we can see that we're over here at the rally. There's people in the background here, and it's still going on right now. But what do you think about the average Albertan? The average Albertan, do you think that they're really in tune with the NDP, or is the NDP sort of on a leg all on their own doing what they want to do, and do they really care about what's happening to the average Albertan?
Well, I want to make something clear that we can't divide along partisan lines and say everyone who's NDP is bad and everyone who's a conservative is good. But what I do want to say, like, I've met people in the NDP who I believe do have good values and do care about people. But at the end of the day, if they're attaching their name to a party that's doing things such as this, I got to stop and question them and hold them accountable for what they're doing. I think the reason why the NDP got in was because the PC party got to a point where it was out of touch with the people. And in those days, it was flat out. We were working so hard, we didn't have time to hold the government to account. And we got complacent. And that's when the government began to implement an agenda that was not conservative, that didn't represent the interests of Albertans. And then there was a protest vote. Probably half the NDP voters that last election aren't NDP supporters. They're swing voters who were disgusted with the PC and were also disgusted with the floor crossing for the Wild Rose Party. So, I mean, people have lost faith in the system, and they wanted to take a gamble because the NDP tells everyone what they want to hear, but they do it with a Cheshire grin on their face, knowing full well that they have no intention of listening to people, and as soon as they have power, I mean, I grew up in BC. We've dealt with the NDP in the 90s. Do you know how much mess we had to clean up with Gordon Campbell when the Liberals came in to deal, you know, they destroyed mining, they destroyed forestry, they destroyed our trade, they destroyed small business. So
in ending, if you could say one thing to the Albertans, what would that be?
Stay strong, and you know, if you need help, ask for help. You know, Albertans are very charitable people, both in terms of time donated and money donated. We're the most charitable province per capita in this country. We're a great people, but we don't want our charity coming from the government. We want it coming from our neighbors and our communities. So I just say to those people who are hurting, don't give up. Put faith in your family first, and it will work out. But at the same time, I don't want to give you false hope, and I don't think things are getting better in the next year, and it's going to take a long time to fix this damage that's been created, so buckle up. And like I said, just don't lose hope. because it will get better. But, you know, tough times, they don't last, but tough people do.
Right. Thanks a lot.
Oh, my
Appreciate it.
pleasure.
Yep. See ya.
Do you think our natural resources are dirty?